on? Yo, what's up? This is That's 86 podcast. I am your host, Bryant, also known as BryGuy. And I'm usually here having fun. It's kind of hot out today. It's hot. It is hot. Or it's just hot in here, probably because I got this whole smoking jacket thing going on. But, you know, it is what it is. Right now I'm smoking on a cigar, a Nicaragua, whatever. Dark Corojo. I've been pretty excited about that because that means like the leaf is more like of a purplish tint. It's really packed with flavor. I'm just enjoying it, you know, but whatever. All right, so today I'm really excited. I'm hype. I am hype. So much to talk about, but I'm going to start off with the cheers, pouring up some Jack Daniel's Gold, number 27, you know. Finish that bottle off. Let's kill that. As you can see, right into the left of this Jack Daniel's bottle, there's a Jack Daniel's Black Book that I like to get into. All right, for that, cheers to everybody that's checking out. Hopefully everybody's in good spirits, have high energy. It's nice outside. Ooh, that's smooth. That's so good. But yeah, so this week's been pretty crazy. It's been busy. I am tired. I'm not getting a lot of sleep. You know, work, just have more productions going on, trying to get these wine parties started again. It's just a lot that's on the plate, but I'm trying to show up every week consistently for you. This right now is on the Facebook platform. It's being streamed live. I'm still excited about that. You can always check this audio experience if you missed a lot, the streaming live. Then these episodes do post on Wednesdays at www.thats86.com. That's www.thats8, 6, Right there, that's where you can get merch. You can check out the visuals there. Our YouTube postings are on that website as well. But the audio posts there on Wednesdays, and then it hits YouTube on Fridays. And I'm also excited because I've been working on something, the Patreon page. It's finally launched. I have some content going up there. I'm more excited about the next postings that I have coming up, which one of them definitely is another interview that I have going on, and some cool tastings. All right, so I'm just really excited. So make sure you go to Patreon and search for That's 86 podcast, because it's building. I'm enjoying it. But that's pretty much what's been going on in a week. Unfortunately, my co-host Theo is not here right now. Everybody keep your prayers out for him. Keep just positive energy just going his way. That's my guy, you know, that's my guy. All right, so man, I pod once a week, you know, and it's pretty interesting because after the pod, I got mail from a trade publication called, Tasting Panel. And in Tasting Panel, it came with this book right here, this Jack Daniel's Black Book. So I'm like, what is this? Because I'm looking at the cover, and of course you got me, because it has, I'm in Philly, and it has love on it, which is pretty iconic, you know, worldwide. Everybody wants to take a photo in front of the love statue or work, you know, even have one that says Amor, you know, so it's just the real Philadelphia staple. So it had me. I was like, whoa, what's this? This looks cool. This is interesting. So the podcast had ended, so I couldn't really dive into it at that point. I was like, do I go live again? What do I do? So I just sat on for a week, you know, looking through it, trying to understand what is this, you know. As I'm flipping through it, the first thing I notice is I don't know nobody in it. I mean, I know these people, but I don't know them of being Philadelphia. So I was really confused. Super confused. Flipping through, I'm seeing the names, I'm seeing the states. I'm just like, okay, all right, what's happening? What's going on? Like, I'm thinking as I'm flipping through it, I'm going to see a whole lot of people from Philadelphia represented in this little pamphlet or this book, you know, that has Philadelphia love icon on it, you know? So I get to some random page, and then there's one person, Sasha. Sasha, she works at Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She's a bartender there. She's the only representative of Philadelphia in there. So I'm sitting back. Congratulations to you. Yes, you are killing it, queen. Yes, I appreciate you. Great article, great little write-up in it. So I'm looking through, I'm just like, all right, so there's one. All right, cool. So I'm going through it even more. And that's it. It's just one person. So I skimmed through this book again by Jack Daniels. And then I noticed, I'm just like, all right, so there are multiple of other states represented in here. There's from the same city, like there's like 4 from LA. Yes, LA is large, I get it, but no, it's just LA. It doesn't say like Sacramento, Culver City, it just says LA. So I'm presuming that they're pretty much talking about like downtown LA. You get there's a couple from Colorado. My point being that there's only one person that represents Philadelphia within this black book that has love on the cover, that you would think there would be a whole lot more Philadelphia representation in here, And no, nope, there's not. There's a couple Georgias. Let's see, where's Sasha at? Sasha, it's so hard to even find like the one representative for Philadelphia in here. Look, I'm still flipping. Going back, This cover is misleading. This is appropriation at its finest, and it's by Jack Daniels. And I shouldn't be surprised because we all know of, Uncle Nearest, Nearest Green, and how that whole thing played out with Jack Daniels and Nearest Green. Look, here we go. Sasha Durham. Right there, that's it. That's the only Philadelphia. That's the only one that's Philadelphia, and they got that out of here pretty early. That's what I'm going to do next episode. For next episode, I am going to recreate the cocktail that she submitted in here, which is Summer Madness. It has Jack Daniels, of course. It has pineapple, lemon, Benedictine, and Calvados, So I'm going to recreate that in honor of you. I'm going to highlight you when I do that because this is still major, Yes, Queen. Hopefully you guys can see that. But that's the only representative for, Jack Daniels' little black book, love edition. This is where they're showing love. And yeah, they show a lot of love to just different markets, and they're using that. That's like having an LAX sign on here and then having only one person from LA in the entire book. How many pages is this? 58 pages. 58 pages, and Sasha's on page number 8. And that's it. So yeah, I think that's really messed up, just because Philadelphia 1 is a whiskey city, predominantly whiskey, beer, and Jack Daniels is pretty much in everybody's well. It's being used there are a lot of whiskey bars, you could grab pretty much any of those people from Time, which is a whole whiskey bar, and put them in there as well. There's just so many places that you can just go and grab whatever, grab a bartender that represent Philadelphia as well, like Good Dog Zach, a classic, he's a classic, he's a staple. Could have put him in there as well. There's just so many other places that you could have just, had more representation for Philadelphia if you're going to use the Philadelphia icon love as your cover. That's it, it's just misleading. But shout out to you, Jack Daniels. I see what you're doing. Sorry, this is fantastic. And this whole, gold number 27 is definitely fantastic product as well from Jack Daniels. But all right, so I've been thinking a whole lot and seeing a whole lot what's been happening as the world's opening back up here in Philadelphia, as well as the rest of the world. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going through this, but the level of service the level of service has, I guess you say, diminished. It has taken a hit because a lot of people haven't, went back to work yet, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Don't blame them at all, because a lot of people aren't tipping. It's still the money game that's being thrown around right now, and I really don't even like how everybody's out here. How everyone is out here offering signing bonuses. It's like you got to stick around for 3 months, but if I'm not getting money while I'm there for this 3 months, the $200 signing bonus that you're offering just doesn't cover any of that time. That time frame. I think it's 90 days until you get your, until you're able to get that signing bonus. It's just not worth it. It's like $200. You can make that if you're at a good spot. You can make that in a couple hours. You can make that in one day. So that's nasty. That's nasty. And I think there's a disconnect between the understanding of how gratuity works or tipping works. So I'm going to just explain that throughout this episode today, because I kind of think that this is important for people to hear and understand. When you leave a tip, you're not just it just doesn't go to one person. I know, as confusing as that sounds, because you think that's just for that person, but no, it's for a whole team of people that support that one person. So it's this thing called tip out, right? So if I'm a bartender, all right, let's start with the bartender. If I'm a bartender and I'm working alongside 2 other bartenders or even 1 other bartender, we have to split that evenly. So if it's if you're leaving like a $5 tip, I have to split that. I have to share that with the 1 other person or the 2 other persons, So that kind of breaks it down to just like, all right, so we pretty much just made $1, But it doesn't stop there, because then there's people that support the bartender, as such as a barback. And a barback may see anywhere from, like, let's just make it easy, 5% of that tip. So, out of my $1 that I've made, 5% of that goes to the person that helped me. And that person does a lot of work. The barback does a lot of work, a lot of preparation just to have everything go smoothly. So that's the one that's cutting all your garnishes, getting the ice, making sure that the bartender never runs out of anything or never needs or is never in need of anything. Everything is there, while at the same time cleaning everything that's around in the bar. So that's on the bar top, that's the back bar, that's under, that's all the things that you can't see. And they're there for long hours, many of hours, because they're cleaning up before anyone gets there, and they're cleaning up after everyone leaves. So, so like that, to not have that in consideration when you're leaving a tip is kind of just like, man, but you don't know, but not you, but people in general just don't know the inner workings to think like, oh, snap. So if I'm leaving whatever, if I'm leaving 10% on 100, that's $10, like, oh, $10 that guy just made, or that lady just made $10, that person just made $10, they're probably seeing $10 more from all these other people, assuming that all these other people have a tab of $100, which usually is not the case, as we can see how many people are in an uproar, over establishments that's setting $100 per person minimum, so it's not a lot of money, that people in the hospitality industry do make, for the amount of effort that's being put out. Like, everyone thinks that if you're a bartender or a server or something like that, that's like, no, you make a lot of money. Just like, no, I don't make a lot of money in all actuality. I mean, like, depending on how I play this, if I'm taxing what I actually do make, then I'm not making a lot, you know, which is hardly the case because a lot of people in the industry just don't declare their tips or anything like that, which they don't have to, you know. Legally, there's a certain percentage that you have to like have, you know, declared, but you'll cover that at the end of the year once tax time rolls around. As long as you have what you owe them, then everything's okay, you know. Then you can do that game as much as you want. But if you do it the way that any 9-to-5er would do it, no, you're not making a lot, you know. You're not making a lot. But I'm just digressing. But it's just the lack of information that's out there, because these are the things that a lot of people don't talk about because it is money, and people get wary when it comes to like talking about finances, just period, because either they feel like they make a lot, they make too much that they don't want to disclose, or that they don't make a lot and they don't want to feel embarrassed because they make so little, you know, when in all actuality they're making the same as everybody else. But you know, but we're in a society where nobody wants to really be honest and have the conversation about finances and how it works, and like we're all in this together kind of thing, you know. I share my accountant with everybody who asks me now, you know, because I'm looking at it like that's more clients for her, you know. That's good for her, you know, who's my accountant. And I got my accountant from DJ days, you know, from the DJ that was my mentor, you know, who taught me how to the inner workings of the music industry and all that kind of stuff. And that relationship just carried on. It was like, you know, that's how I was more so exposed to, wait, something's not right with the way that they're following is not right. It's a lot of things that's uncertain in what they have here and what you're owed and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what start making me think a little bit differently about, oh snap, how this money game works within the hospitality industry. But so when you're sitting there when you're in a position of when you're a tipped employee, all of these things, technically you have to carry yourself like you're an independent contractor, even though you're not, because you're still an employee. You have to carry yourself like you are. So every person that you have to tip out, that's an employee of yours. It's even though they're not, because you don't get any employee tax credit or anything like that. But if it's done right, you can get that money that you tipped out back during tax time. It's crazy, it's interesting at the same time, but yeah, it's because technically you're paying someone, you know? You're providing a job, you know? You're providing a job for what it is that you do. So with that being said, when people are leaving gratuity, it's just like they don't understand that, all right, with this right here, I have to pay all of these people who help me do what I can do. It's not I get to collect all of this on my own. It's like, no, I have a partner right here. They're making drinks just like I'm making drinks. So bam, that's a 50-50 split. It doesn't matter if you're holding your own weight, you know, whatever, you know, that's automatically 50-50. If it was just us, then all right, cool. We're walking out of here with what, $2.50 if you leave a $5 tip, you know? All right, but no, that's usually not the case, because you know, if we're a busy place, then we need help, so boom, that's that. Not only that, if you're a server, well, no, and you also still have to pay, the establishment a percentage of whatever you make. It's crazy. So it's kind of just like they're charging you in order for you to work at the establishment. It's like, well, we have the real estate. You can do whatever it is that you do here, but you're renting this, even though you're an employee of ours. It's so confusing. But this is game. This is the reality of it. So if you're a server, there's a different tip out structure, because you don't have to tip out the bar back, but you do have to tip out the bar, because the bartenders make the drink. So, you know, to make it easier, or they automatically get 10, just round it up, they get 10%. You know, it changes everywhere, but the bar is getting tipped out. They're getting a percentage of your tips, you know, from every server. So you have that. Then you have your bussers. You have the food runners who get a tip out, and some places even the host get a tip out. So I mean that's pretty. And then they also have to. There's money that they have to tip out to the house, which is the establishment. So automatically, right there, you're looking at pretty much 40 to 50% of whatever you make of your tips are gone. Are gone. So whatever. So that $5 still is $2.50, even to the server. Because there's so many hands that have to assist in order for them to just to be the middle person, the negotiant within all of this, to try to figure out what you want, what's best for you. How can you have this amazing experience? Yeah. So when it comes to the whole tip game, it's pretty interesting. It's finite. It's a lot of unwritten details. It's a lot of unwritten details that nobody even asks for. Like whenever anyone's going to get hired or do an interview, no one asks, all right, not enough asks, okay, what's the average amount of reservations do you have coming in, on your busy days? What about on your slow days? Okay, how many people what's the staffing like? How many bussers are on? How many barbacks? How many essays? Server assistants, how many food runners are on, and because you need all of this information to see how much it is that you can potentially make. What's the average check? What's the average check amount? Because with all that information, you'll be able to understand a lot more of how much you'll be able to make within certain places. Just like, all right, okay, so that's a lot, all right, or it's gonna be that's gonna be a little bit, that's probably not gonna be worth my while, or it could be worth my while. No matter what, like, because this is how you have to start valuing yourself as well as your service. Because I mean, like, let's face it, like, you don't want to just align yourself or your brand with anything. Because you can be as diverse as you want, You can go and sling hooch wherever you want, at the finest of restaurants or at the diviest of bars, You can do that, but is that what you really want to do? Is it something you have to do? Like, you just got to start thinking about all of that. What does this look like? It's one thing to know that you can do it, but it's just like, do I want to do it? Do I want to put my mental state through any of that? Because, like, what's going to come with all of that? All right, if I'm looking at high volume, I'm looking at, what's the demographics of it, Because is it going to be a headache for me? Or am I going to have a peace of mind? And like, I may have 5 tables all shift and can make $1,000 on average, a night by working at one place. Or am I going to sit there and do I want the hustle and bustle of, having to talk to 100 tables to reach $1,000 a night or something like that, It's just like, what's going to help you sleep? What's better for your physical self as well as your mental self? Start thinking about all of that as it comes down to, like, money. It's like, is this the kind of clientele that's going to tip me? Leave a great tip where I don't have to sit there and stress and worry because I know I got to tip out all these people. I know this is how this works. I know this is a game. Is it all cash? Is it going on a paycheck that I don't receive because the paychecks aren't ever enough to actually be cashed for anything, unless you work in like a corporate setting, like a hotel or something where you're going to get a check. These are all things to take into consideration as the guest. You don't have to think about any of that, but just don't think that what you're doing is going to just one person. because it's going to a lot of people that becomes an afterthought, because you may not even see those people, you know, and that could be a good thing, you know. I don't know, like a busser, like I believe in you getting that service as far as all right, a server comes over, talks to you, you know, gets the party started, you know, hey, telling you about the menu, telling you about the experience, telling you everything it is that you need to know about what you're about to get yourself into. Tells you the food, explains it, takes your order, boom, they're gone. Food runner comes out, drops your food, boom, tell you what it is, this, that, and they're gone. The server comes back over, you know, hey, so I see, so that's that, you know, telling you everything that's in front of you, reassuring that this is what you ordered and this, you're gonna like this, you know, and take you through it, and then leave again. The next person that comes up after your meal is all done, or as your meal is getting done, is to make sure that everything's just clean in front of you. Because, you know, like, to have dirty dishes in front of you while you're eating something totally new, I think that's just kind of like, appalling a little bit. You know, it's just like, I'd rather just have that dish that you're eating right there in front of you only, and not the one that you're finished with. Get that out the way, you know? Get that out the way so everything feels clean, you don't feel clutter or anything like that. So the next person that comes up would be the busser. Let me get that out your way. You don't even have to say anything. You probably won't even realize because you're talking to your friend or whatever, you know? These are all the things that you could just that can get overlooked from a consumer or a customer's point of view. Which is why you would think this tip only goes to one person. What I hear a lot is that people ask, this tip is just for you, right? You don't have to share this with anybody, meaning you don't have to share this with the other bartender, or you don't have to share this with the other servers. Not saying it in a way that it's like, so you don't have to share this with any of the other people that's working here that I can't see. You know, this is only going for you, right? Because that's the only person that I want to have this. You know, so since that happens, it's just like that's kind of what triggers me to have this conversation as I sit out at restaurants and bars and I hear these things and I'm like, I don't get it. That hurts. So, you know, like, because if people knew that the inner workings of it, maybe they'll be more willing to leave a little bit more and be like, all right, instead of leaving that, I'll leave this because I understand this now. I understand the business, you know? Like, going into McDonald's or any fast food chain like that, it's just like there are no servers. There are no servers. It's just you and it's just them and the cashier. And that's just that, you know? There's no all that middle person, you know, inner workings, they're already taken care of by that establishment, you know? It's just part of the game, you know? You really don't have bussers or, you know, food runners, people bringing your food out to you at these kind of things. They make you wait in line and they'll say your name and you come up and you grab your stuff. Everything's just like that, you know? It's not the same experience, so it's a lot different working at one of those kind of establishments. So a lot more people are more, what do you say? How do you say this? Are more conditioned for that dining experience and not the experience of understanding just like, wait, no. This person right here, I have to treat them as their own business. And then that also goes to the dialogue with from the servers or the bartenders or whoever, you know, that should be more of a conversation that they're willing to have and they're ready to have when it comes down to money. Because what happens in a lot of places is they'll say never talk to anybody about the money or any like tips or anything like that. Whatever people feel like leaving, just be happy with that. Just take that, you know, and smile. Never say anything. Never ask them. Never question any of the motives or intentions or anything. Never ask like, well, why did you only leave that? You know, Never ask anything like that. Just never talk about money at all to people. And I get it, because people could take offense to it, which people do, because it's like, what? You should be glad that I'm leaving you this. I don't have to leave this at all, So it's yeah, that's pretty tricky. But even still, like when those moments do occur, when they're asking, it's like, do you have to share this with anyone? It's just, I think in those moments, it's like, well, yeah, I do. I don't have to just share it with this person, but I have to share it with a lot of people that's behind the scenes, that actually like my bar back, my busser, my food runner, sit there and explain that, because now that changed things. So they're more enlightened, and then maybe they're more inclined to tell their friends about it. It's like, oh, you know what I've learned? Because people like sharing information, definitely when they just learned something. So that's why I think that this conversation is important and needs to be had. Definitely for people who don't regularly go out, who don't regularly dine out and get that kind of experience. They don't get that experience and that exposure. So this is how you build the culture, by having these uncomfortable conversations until the point where they become comfortable. It's just like, look, man, because it comes down to money. You want money. You want more money. They want a good time, good experience. If you're not making money, that kind of put a dampers on your mood and the way that you're going to engage with people. Like that first time you see, like, you got like a rounded up tip to like the nearest dollar. So if the tab is like $99.90 and then 90 cents, and then they leave a 10-cent tip, that's kind of discouraging. It's just like, oh, what? Because they hit their max that they were willing to spend, which was 100, So they feel good, because now they're just like, all right, this is even. I'm okay, like even though it's not fair, I get it, it's not fair, but that's just the mindset of a lot of people, just around. Let that sink in for a little bit. I'm gonna use this time right now to make a cocktail. One of the ones that I like the most. So what I'm making is called a BeesKnees. It's a gin-based cocktail. Yo, this knife is really nice. All right, cool. So it uses lemon juice, honey, and gin. Something simple, something easy, something fun. I know what I'm getting myself into. Let's see, squeeze that. I mean, the measurements are always different depending on who's making it. I'm a citrus head, so I'm going to sit there and always make my stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna make my stuff a little bit more tart, because I like the acidity. I like what it brings. I'm not so big on sweets, but I like things that like shock my palate, where it's just like, whoa, wake up. Oh, that's refreshing. All right, now we're cooking up. But yeah, so the BeesKnees is was a popular cocktail. It did have a resurgence on a lot of different cocktail menus a few years ago. They're still around too. There's still some cocktail programs that use the BeesKnees. I mean, it's still just pretty much a variation of a daiquiri, if you ask me, or a whiskey sour. Boom. A little bit of honey. And for this one, I'm going to use this Empress Gin 1908, because it has that purple color. And I think it's going to have a beautiful color coming out. Yes, and I am free pouring, because I do know how to do that. I did that randomly at the bar a couple days ago. Someone asked for Pernod, a glass of Pernod neat, which is a 2-ounce pour. So I just got a rocks glass and I just free poured it. Everybody looked at me and said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And I was just like, "What?" Because they never seen me bartend. They actually have no idea who I am. And I love that. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure, but since you guys aren't, I'll show you." I got it. I was like, "Can you pass me a jigger?" Of course they didn't know what a jigger was. Of course they didn't know what a jigger was. So I was like, "All right, cool. Pass me that thing right there. You know, it looks like this, but this was more of the bell curved one." So they passed it to me, and I poured it confidently all the way to the top where it had that concave, and I was just like, perfect, boom. And they all looked so surprised, and I was proud of myself too. I was like, oh shit, I didn't do that in a long time, you know? I haven't done that in so long, and I still got it. I know people love it when you shake for some reason. Ooh, I could shake that a little bit longer, but it's cool. And I don't know what I did with my Hawthorne strainer. So, since I don't have that, I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to use the julep strainer. And I'm going to pour it also into a wine glass, because I think that's going to look beautiful. This has a beautiful color to it as well. Of course, because it has the purple gin. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is actually beautiful. And that's how you come up with a variation of a cocktail. And that's called the BeesKnees. Because it's the BeesKnees. All right, cool. I kind of could have got a little bit fancier. I could have did a garnish with a lemon peel or something like that. But look at that. All right, taste that out. That's fantastic. I actually put I put a little bit too much citrus in it, but I told you I like that. Like, ooh, yeah. That's like an acid bomb. But yeah, so with that, where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh yeah, so this kind of reminds me of those sweet tart candies. I don't know if you guys remember them. Just eat them, and then it had so much acidity to it that it would make you pucker. You know, it tastes exactly like one of those. But I like it. This is good. It's crushable. But yeah, so with such a tough topic as finances goes, you know, like a lot of people get really screwed in the hospitality industry financially, you know? Like it's a big bickering back of the house and front of the house, just because like a lot of like line cooks believe that, you know, dishwashers, everybody that handles the food or the dishes, you know, in the back, people that you never get to see, believe that they should get a percentage of tips too. They should get tipped out as well, because they are the ones that's creating the food, making the food for your guests or for the guests to enjoy. So they deserve a percentage of the tip out as well. And the whole argument with that is that, well, they have a higher hourly wage. You know, they're not getting paid the $2 an hour. They're getting paid like $14 an hour, you know, and up. And they work a lot of hours. They have long shifts, you know. And I see that, and I believe that too, you know. I believe that a good percentage of the tip out should go to the people that's making the food, you know. I do believe that. Because it's only right. It's only right. You know, it's just like they should get some kind of like commission or something, you know, like, well, percentage. Because it's just like, well, how much are you, like, you're walking out of here with potentially like $200 a night, right? And I'm walking out of here with nothing at all. I gotta wait for my check to come through and all that kind of stuff. And I've been here forever and all that kind of, it's the conversations, just, there are mad variations on how that can go. But yeah, like, I do believe that a percentage should go to them definitely per server as well. Like I'm taking more away from the server, of course, you know, because now that they're already giving up 30 to 40%, you know, so now it's just like, all right, add another 10% on. Now you're taking 50% of what that person bought in, you know, you're taking 50%. So now so that $100 a night or $200 a night became a $100 a night or a $50 a night, which, I mean, I can see why someone would be upset at that. But in the grand scheme, I believe that if everybody's happy, you know, like if the people who are cooking the food are happy, they're more inclined to do better and want to try harder, you know what I'm saying? And actually give a shit, you know? You know, there won't be any hiccups. Like now food's probably coming out at a faster rate, you know, like because they feel valued, they feel appreciated. The servers and bartenders, I mean, bartenders are a little bit different because you are creating cocktails, you know, like, I mean, if you're just slinging beer, then, you know, that's a little bit different. But if you're creating, like, if you're sitting there shaking up daiquiris and shaking up mojitos and all this other jazz, you know, then it's like, oh, you're creating something too. I get it, you know? But service, it's kind of just like, well, you're pretty much like a salesperson. You know, you're not really creating anything. You're just the middle person communicating what's been created to. Oh no, you're explaining what's the experience that this person is about to get. You know, so it's like, yeah, I'd rather sit there and know that everybody in the establishment is happy with what they're doing, you know? So if it costs me a little bit more for that security, I'm with it, you know? 50% of my tips are gone, bam, you know? Because everybody that's not the face is happy. I can trust that they're going to do what's supposed to be done. So I don't have to even worry about those fine little details. I shouldn't have to, like, there shouldn't be any hair in the food when it comes out, you know? There shouldn't be any, like, dirty glassware on the tables while people are still there, you know? The food gets dropped off at a reasonable amount of time. Like, it just seems like that headache of that, like, one of the stresses is gone. Like, I don't have to sit there and check on my table and be like, oh man, something didn't come out, you know? Or, oh man, this isn't cooked right, you know? Wouldn't have to worry about any of that. So then I have a different aura about, well, I'll have a better confidence when I'm going to tables knowing everything's perfect and everything, like just how everything's happening just like how I said it would happen. So nobody's going to have a bad time, which is going to leave a higher tip. That's all people want. All people want is a good time. All right, so let me see. All right, I guess I'll do a highlight now. I guess that's a reasonable amount of time. I kind of touched into the whole financial aspect and the tip outs and how that works and from different perspectives. You know, also spoke about this whole Jack Daniels love book from Tasting Panel magazine. So disgusted. But yeah, so I mean, I want to give a special highlight to Sasha Dunham over at Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I remember meeting her before COVID, obviously. Went and sat in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is an amazing restaurant. She was there with her fro, and she was really nurturing. You know, like it felt like Southern hospitality. It felt like you were being taken care of from someone that was from the South. I don't know if she's from the South, but the hospitality that she just provided, that aura, just felt like she was a nurturing individual, and that changed everything. You know, soft spoken. You know, it's just like, it's all right, baby, don't worry, I got you. You know, it was just it felt like it was actually being crafted specifically for you. You know, no matter how loud the room was, it just felt like it was you and her, and she's sitting there just like, I can make something good for you. You know, I can do that. Like, she provided excellent service. You know, it's only one that you could dream of. And I'm glad she's still there and she's still rocking around, you know, and she's getting some shine from Jack Daniels, you know? Like, yes, queen, yes. Keep on providing. Just keep on being you, you know, and creating that lane, you know, like, man, yeah. So that's my highlight. Coming to see you soon. That's all I got. All right. Thank you for checking out another episode of That's 86 Podcast. I'm Bryant, also known as BryGuy. And please make sure you check out that Patreon page. Oh, man, it just started, but the journey for it is going to be amazing. I'm excited about it. And, geez, you know what? This whole time, like, Father's Day was yesterday, and I brought my whole little dad's hat with me. I was supposed to wear it, but I get so used to just having the headphones on that I forgot my cap. I forgot to wear my dad's hat, you know, my dad hat, you know. Jeez. All right, so, you know, like, I'm looking forward to more conversations, more engagement with all of you guys. Hopefully I'll get to see you come to some of the wine parties. I've been getting a lot of text messages and messages in general, and people coming up to me like, all right, so now that everything's open, are you going to do your wine parties again? So that's pretty exciting for me, you know, because I did just stop doing them because it got too big, you know, it got too big and too exclusive. And I'm excited for the energy that's around, you know, to be able to provide some excitement for wine and this whole different kind of experience that everybody's looking for, you know. So thank you for tuning in. Cheers. This is awkward. Bye.